Welcome back to the Relaxing Ghost channel here on YouTube. Today we have our Survivor Series 2020 pay-per-view predictions. Gonna start doing these again. And what a bigger show to come into than the 30th anniversary of The Undertaker. What is being sold as The Undertaker's farewell. Will this be the final appearance of The Undertaker? As of this morning, Sunday morning, there is no scheduled matches for Taker, which I kind of like. Keep that interest going. Maybe we could have some squash match set up last second, or Taker doing a run-in, something like this I could see. But if they're just gonna let him go for 20-30 minutes on the mic is great. It just sucks that it's not gonna be in front of any fans. We got 7 matches scheduled for tonight, which are all interpromotional matchups. It's that one time a year where Raw and SmackDown go head to head. We all know that's not true. We see it at the Rumble, Survivor Series, SummerSlam, Money in the Bank, Clash of Champions, and pretty much every other month that there's a pay-per-view. There has been real no brand loyalty over the past couple of years, guys going back and forth, especially when they had that wild card rule going on. Remember that whole thing about a year ago? Yeah, this Survivor Series is going to come off as a big letdown when it's all said and done, apart from Undertaker's final farewell. Really disappointing that NXT wasn't a part of this, due to the circumstances with the COVID precautions and things like that. I think it was safe to, leave NXT, doing its own thing. I think this is the one year you could have done away with the champion versus champion matchups. I really liked last year's with the triple threat theme to it. But this year, I don't know. We did get our last minute WWE Title Switch. They did a double switcheroo. So Drew McIntyre is the champion heading into this event. Randy Orton did just win his, I believe, 14th title. Clash of Champions, so big ups to Randy Orton, who isn't even on the card. Who I feel is, Mr. Survivor Series, Randy Orton. So, 30 years to the day, actually, that The Undertaker debuted. And happy Thanksgiving if you're in the United States. I know they're celebrating Thanksgiving this weekend, so happy Thanksgiving to all Americans. This will be in the Thunderdome. On the pre-show, it looks like we're going to have a little dual brand battle royal. If I had to pick someone, I'd go with probably Dolph Ziggler. Maybe Kofi Kingston can win it. The Miz, who is now Mr. Money in the Bank. I could see him winning it. Put a little prestige back into that briefcase. It's year after year. The Money in the Bank winners look like losers by the end of it. So, dual brand battle royal. No big predictions for that. Besides the couple of guys I mentioned. And then we have 6 matches announced for the main show. Drew McIntyre versus Roman Reigns probably will headline the show. WWE Champion versus Universal Champion. A rematch from WrestleMania 35. Yeah, these guys actually had a decent WrestleMania match. It was nothing too crazy. but it was okay. We got our 2 men and women's elimination matches, I guess. I wish they would have done one for the tag teams instead of the champion versus champion match. I always love seeing those matches, going back to the early days of Survivor Series. You got 5 teams on each side, so 20 men, surrounding that ring. It takes up the whole apron pretty much. It's really cool visual. So for the women, we have Nia Jax, Shayna Baszler, Lana, Lacey Evans, and Peyton Royce versus Bianca Belair, Ruby Riott, Liv Morgan, Bayley, and Natalya. I'm actually going to go with the SmackDown women on this one. I feel like with all the stuff they built up with Lana and Nia Jax, all the stuff they built up, well, it's kind of one-sided kind of build here, but, I just kind of feel like Lana and Nia Jax are going to get into it, costing their team, and, I can't bet against Bayley. So, hoping for the blue women. On Raw, we have, for the men's side, we have AJ Styles, Keith Lee, Sheamus, Braun Strowman, and Matt Riddle. I believe The Fiend was replaced in this match. Not sure if he's going to make any appearance or what, but, maybe he'll get a face-to-face with The Undertaker. I think that'd be cool. And the men's side of SmackDown looks like Kevin Owens, Jey Uso, King Corbin. Yeah, he's still going by King Corbin a year and a half later. Seth Rollins and Otis. Sorry, SmackDown, but SmackDown's team looks incredibly weak when you look at the size and strength and technical ability of AJ Styles and company. So I'm going with Team Raw, for the men at least. Bobby Lashley versus Sami Zayn, a IC versus US title matchup here. I love the champion versus champion matchups. It's just, they could have done something a little bit different here. Like I said, last year they added the NXT side of things to it, so you had that extra variable here. I don't think this match really does it for me, but I could see Sami Zayn walking away with the win, so he's going to be my pick. All the stuff with Retribution and the Hurt Business, I feel like that's going to affect the outcome in this match. And Sami Zayn's got his crew with him as well. Don't forget about Nakamura, Cesaro, and maybe that could lead to a TLC match the next month. Third match, or I guess third to last, The New Day versus the Street Profits. Again, another champion versus champion match. There's no stakes on the line. There's nothing that, saying you should root for SmackDown over Raw or Raw over SmackDown. Something they rarely have done in Survivor Series history is put some stakes on the line. I know a lot of fans were complaining about that. To me, it doesn't really make a difference. I know you could put Royal Rumble picks on the line or some other type of stipulations. I love 2003 for that reason. The 5 men from Bischoff's team all got a favor from Bischoff, whether it was a championship match or, saving someone's job. I liked how they did that. So, New Day, I don't feel like they really need the win, so I'm going with the Street Profits. Then we have Asuka versus Sasha Banks. Asuka is the Raw Women's Champion, and Sasha being the SmackDown Women's Champion. Going with Asuka here. I feel like she's been, fairly dominant throughout her run, although Sasha Banks does very definitely need a win somewhere down here. It's not a championship match, so I feel like Sasha can take a L here, but not really. She does have a horrible pay-per-view record, especially in championship matches. So I am going with Asuka here. They had a fantastic match. Either earlier, was that 2020 Rumble, or couple of years ago. No, that was Becky versus Asuka was this year and last year, so maybe a couple of years ago. But and then yeah, Drew McIntyre versus Roman Reigns for the 4th straight year. The WWE titles changed hands before Survivor Series. 17, we had AJ Styles defeat Jinder Mahal. Styles would take on Lesnar. 18, Daniel Bryan would defeat AJ Styles and break up his year-plus long reign. And Daniel Bryan would take on Lesnar. 2 very solid matches that you should check out. And then Daniel Bryan became the People's Champion. Planet's Champion. Last year they did the change with who was it? Last year they kind of switched both titles, but they didn't do the champion versus champion match as they had other tri-branded matches. But they did change the Universal title after that whole awful thing with Rollins and The Fiend. They changed the Universal title in Saudi Arabia. And then Lesnar defeating Kofi Kingston in, 8 or 9 seconds. So, you know, there will always be that to remember. And then this year, it looked like it was going to be Orton heading into Survivor Series and quickly switched it back to McIntyre. So I'm happy they're running with McIntyre. You know, I always believe in giving people a fair shake at a title run. So, honestly, I'm thinking, you know, Orton gets involved in this main event. The Fiend probably gets involved. And I wouldn't be surprised if The Undertaker gets involved in this main event. And really kind of set up something for Undertaker going into WrestleMania. If this is, you know, kind of a hoax here or a little setup for Undertaker's final farewell, you know, start the build here. You know, I still believe Taker will have one last match in front of fans. You know, I think, you know, Taker's that dedicated and, you know, he's very humble. I don't see a reason why Taker wouldn't have one final match. You know, doing the cinematic matches and things like that are great. So there's my thoughts, guys. Let me know your predictions for Survivor Series, The Undertaker, Reigns, and McIntyre. As always, we'll talk to you later. Peace.